Welcome back to RBD Block Challenge. I'm Cindy Cloward, and today we are working on block number 5. It's called Ombré Churn, and it's designed by Beverly McCullough. You're going to really enjoy making this new spin on a churn dash. I love a good churn dash, and look how great this looks in an ombre pattern. So this is what it looks like in our confetti cottons, and this is what it looks like in our batiks. Just as beautiful. So today I'm working with our confetti cotton solids, and like always, download the pattern from the Riley Blake Designs website, Ombré Churn Dash. It is a double pager, and there's a lot of pieces to it, but it comes together so easily. You're really going to enjoy making this block. So I'm going to grab my glasses and let's get started on the piecing of the ombre outside of the churn dash. So the pattern tells you to, I'm just going to start working through this, and you can grab a smaller design board if you want, which I think I will. We are going to grab the G and the L. So let's find our G and L rectangles. So those are going to go together. And then we're going to grab an L and a D. Those are going to go together. And then these are all different sizes. And then an I and a B. A J and a C. And watch how those are sewn. They are sewn on the side, the shorter side. So I'm actually gonna, because when I put out my pieces, I put them out from this way. So if you need to remind yourself which side you sew on, you can put a couple little pins, but I do lay them out on my design board the side I want to sew them on. Okay, H and an F. So here's an H and an F, and we are going to make 2 of these. So I need to go back and grab my 2 of those. I need to go back and grab these 2 because we're making 2 of these. Flipping it on its side, and then our A and E, and we are going to make 2 of those as well. Okay. So we are going to take this little design board to our sewing machine, and we're going to get started. We're going to chain piece them all together, just one after another, until we have sewn all these units together. All right, we're clipping all of our threads in between, and then we're going to take these to the pressing station and press them to the dark side, the darker fabric. Sometimes I just lay them all down, give them a nice press so all my threads are nice and warm. And then I just open it up one at a time. All right, let's gather up all of our pieces. And these are various sizes, so you can grab your various rulers. Let's just pull out this green, and that's supposed to be 3.5 inch squared. You can just check This is all 3.5 inch squared, so that looks good. Okay, those look good. So we are ready to go to the next step. We are going to work on these half square triangles. You need to pay attention to the direction they are going because they are mirror opposites, and you've got to pay attention to the colors to create this ombre effect. So we'll start with this green. You can lay them out like this, and one side is going to flip this direction and the other side. So it is important that you mark these. This will help you out a lot. And then this side is going to go this direction. And then we're going to trim this. So it's going to be very important when you trim to make sure you're trimming mirror opposites. So this is our sew line, and they are mirror opposites, okay? We're going to do the same thing for the pink. Line it up. And this, we want it to look like that. And then this is going to be the mirror opposite and go like this. So this little design board is helpful. So let's take it to our machine. And just pay attention how you're sewing. I'm going to just flip it this way. Center it on with your needle. And we're gonna stitch down the center. Okay. You can always pin it if you want to remember which side you need to start with. Let's clip our threads. Oh, one more. So this is, again, going to be super important that you check and recheck before you trim down. And we want that one, and make sure they're opposite. That is going to go like this. And look at your pattern, check and recheck. I kind of finger press and make sure that's correct. Yep, that is correct. So we can trim down. I kind of leave them in this position. And then I'll flip it that way. All right, let's take a look again. Finger press that open. That's right. Because you're gonna have to redo it. if you didn't do this right the first time, that is right. Making our churn dash sides. So those, we'll put those in our scrap bin. And let's take a look at the pink. The pink. Take a look at your pattern. That goes up at the top. Fold that back. And that goes like that. Okay. There you go. Just check one more time, right? Okay, there we go. Those are looking good. All right, let's take these to the pressing station. And we will press them open. I'm pressing to the ombre side. Well, they want to go opposite, whatever side they want to flip to. There we go. Looks good. Okay. Okay, bring them back here. And the next thing in the pattern is to sew these two. These are 4.5 by 3.5. And then you're gonna match them to the blocks or to these units right here. So you're gonna see that goes there, that goes there. So you're gonna make that a little ombre unit. And then that green is going to go there. Let's see, there we go. Making that churn dash. There we go. So the greens should match on the bottom like that, and then the lighter pinks. And they should line up. So let's go sew these two units together. All right, let's take this to the pressing station. And what we want to see is our points, 1/4 inch from the outside edge. I'm going to press this like this. I may change my mind later, but let's press that unit and then this unit. Okay, let's bring these strips back here. I'm gonna move these over. And we're gonna work on that center unit now. So we've got our two strips. We've got this and this. And we're gonna work on this I and B unit, making it a snowball unit. So these 4 squares, these M squares, are gonna go on the corner. And then we'll come back to these in just a minute. So let's take these squares. Now you can mark, if you don't have a Seam So Easy guide, mark corner to corner. Corner to corner, that's your sew line. That's how we're gonna make this snowball unit. So I'm gonna take this to my sewing machine. Again, you can just pull those off and work one side at a time. Okay, there we are, looking good. I'm gonna take my 1/4 inch plus ruler and trim down. All right, let's go press this open, the stitch and flip method. We just have to press those open. They're having a hard time staying pressed down. Again, a little more starch. All right, if you feel like this has grown a little bit, you can check, grab your cute cut ruler, make sure it's still measuring 4.5 inch square. And mine did grow slightly. It sometimes does that. So you can trim it down. All right, here we go. It is ready to go. We are ready to assemble this block. And we're gonna add the sides of the churn dash here, here. So we are going to make sure you're paying attention. The light yellow goes on top. So let's take this to our sewing station. We're gonna sew those two sides on first. Okay, let's clip our threads in between. Let's open that up there. Do a little finger press. And there. And now we're gonna sew that on this side, and we'll flip that and sew it on the other side of that snowball, our ombre snowball. Okay, let's take a look. We want to see that darker yellow on the same spot all throughout that block, and that's looking good, creating our ombre. And now we just have two more seams. So we're going to flip over the top, and that we press those to the inside. That's just where they need to go to nest. So I'm going to pin my nested seams. I'm going to pin my outside seam. Nest the other side. Again, they're nesting beautifully. I'm going to pin that right there, that outside. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pin this side. Nest my seams first. Again, flipping them opposite. I am going to pin the outside. Okay, let's go sew our last two seams. All right, let's take it to the pressing station. Let's press from the back side. Let's open it up, and it's looking good. It's making a beautiful churn dash. Okay, let's press this side so it'll lay nice and flat. Okay, let's take a look at this ombre dash. We do need to check it for the size and see if we need to trim anything around this block. And I've lined everything up. It's looking good. We want to make sure our points are inside that 1/4 inch, and it's looking great. This was such a fun block. It's a different take on a churn dash. I love a churn dash, and I can't wait to see what Bev McCullough does with her own block and her own fabrics. So thanks for joining me for block number 5. Join me next time for block number 6. It's by Jennifer Long, and it's called Square Knot.